meant, and I use the term loosely. I was still trying to get back on track after my little vacation trip to Colorado. There used to be on that table a pair of cylinder heads you saw in a previous video. Those are done, shipped out, and gone. Switching over here to the bench, there's a magneto in here, and there used to be another bin with a magneto over here. That magneto is done and gone. This magneto is waiting for a part that'll be here tomorrow. And this bin over here is a set of flywheels, waiting for parts. They'll be here tomorrow. I got it all cleaned up, ready to go. Got the thrust washers out, the rod races lapped, because I do have a crank pin and bearings and cages. So that'll be pretty quickly done tomorrow. Hopefully this will be done pretty quickly tomorrow too. Over on this end of the bench, I used to have a pile of leatherworking stuff. You'll notice that that leatherworking stuff is gone and has been replaced by Super Clean products. Super Clean is sponsoring this video and future videos to a certain extent. They're giving me product. I'm going to mention them in future episodes and list them as a sponsor. And yeah, anyway, Super Clean, help me out. Leather stuff gone, Super Clean stuff in. One of the reasons the leather stuff is gone is because I'm calling this seat officially done. I hit this hard for, I don't know, a couple of 2 or 3 days. And yeah, very happy with this. I got rid of the baseball stitch because there were issues with that. Although I think maybe the baseball stitch is probably the way to go. I don't know. If I'm happy with this in the future because of the way it wears in and whatever. I could always take all of this out, put baseball stitch in. That's not that big of a deal. But anyway, seat ready to go. Very happy with this. Butt pad. Very happy with this. My butt ought to fit just about right there. The gas tank, oil tank, ready to go. One of these days going to be doing a little bit of Bondo work. There's some weld pits. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like welding them in or just putting a little Bondo on there. A little Bondo is going to be sort of necessary anyway. But that leads us to a couple of announcements for today and the project of the day. The project of the day is going to be that motor is coming out. The cases are getting split, and those I'm going to begin power washing and cleaning and bead blasting. And of course, once the frame is empty of the motor anyway, I'm going to strip it down, begin repairs on the frame, and I expect pretty rapid progress on this bike over the next 2 or 3 months. I got a couple of announcements over here. A fella goes by the YouTube name of Jim-GS3JO. He made a donation to the channel by clicking on the thanks button underneath the videos. I didn't even know that was there, honestly. And now that I know it's there, and I know anybody could click on that thanks button, if you want to send me a small donation, I would greatly appreciate it. But to Jim-GS3JO, thank you ever so much. And just a couple of other FYIs that go along with this. YouTube does not give me your email addresses. And if you've got a YouTube channel and in your information you post the address, I could send you an email directly. I could kind of track you down. But typically they don't. So, Jim, I couldn't send you a personal email. Thank you. I did reply in the comments eventually. I think your donation came in while I was out of town. But anyway, thank you. And I encourage anybody else who watches and halfway likes these videos, pitch me a few bucks. It comes in handy. Anybody who pitches me a few bucks with the thanks, will be added to the list of channel supporters at the end of the video. So you will be immortalized, because I think these videos live on YouTube forever. I think. I don't know, but I think so. And a couple of videos ago, when I was going through the crap sitting on my bench, I showed you guys a tiny piece of a crankcase, and Billy Icon 13 guessed that it was a K model crankcase. I'll show you why he was able to determine it was a K model crankcase from just a little bit that was seen. In case you're wondering, the clue in the previous video, although not nearly as close up as you're seeing it now, but the clue in the previous video that gave it away was the idler gear. You could see the idler gear shaft is screwed to the crankcase, so the gear rotates on the stationary shaft. On a Sportster, the shaft rotates in bushings on the crankcase. So this would have been one clue that it wasn't a Sportster. I'm not sure about the very early Sportsters, like 57, 58, 59, what kind of arrangement they had for absolute certain, but all of the later ones, the idler gear, the generator idler gear, and the shaft rotated together. So on the K models and the shaft was fixed and the gear rotated around it. But anyway, that was the one hint you could possibly see if you were looking at the previous video or trying to figure out what kind of engine it was. But anyway, Billy, you win the prize. And once again, I don't have your email address or your physical address, so Billy Icon 13, contact me. Give me an address. Your coffee cup and sticker will be on the way shortly. And that leads to like one other offshoot of this. I notice in the comments that a lot of guys ask questions, which is fine. But if you ask a question in the comments, I may or may not see it. I may or may not answer it. If you have a question and you really want to answer, click on the contact link listed in the description of the video. There's a link to contact me through the form on my website. If you want to ask a personal question, that's the best way to do it. YouTube is supposed to send me an email every time somebody leaves a comment. I don't know, a couple of months ago that broke, then it started working again. I don't know that that's reliable or not. So if you have a question and you really want it answered, click on the contact link in the descriptions below the video. That will send me an email. I will get it, and I will make a best attempt to answer it. So, don't make it a habit of asking me questions in the comments, because I may or may not respond. And the other day, I was going through the comments trying to respond, and I didn't realize how many there were that I hadn't responded to. I do try to respond to most of them, if not all of them. I fail miserably. I just don't. I just don't have enough time between the work I'm doing and making the videos and blah 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 to go through and respond to every comment. So if you get a response, great. If you don't get a response, sorry, but I just don't have enough time to deal with it. And having said all of that, I think it's time to move on with the projects of the day and get this engine out of here and get it split so I could start cleaning it up. Alright, here are the K model crankcases. And They're pretty much all apart. There's a few things I'm going to take out. But as long as I'm getting the power washer out, I think I'm going to power wash these. I'm hoping the power washer knocks this black paint off. I'm hoping. I'm not overly optimistic that that's going to happen, but I hope it happens. I want to get it apart all the way. I don't see any cracks in it yet, but that's one of the reasons I want to get the black paint off. Black paint is usually a sign to run away from a motorcycle deal. Black paint hides everything pretty well. This area is often frequently damaged. This cracks in between here, cracks between here and here. Around this bearing boss cracks. Hopefully the camera will pick this up for you. This is really, really worn out. K model. Well, this is a KHK, okay? KHKs are different. I don't know about a regular K model, but on a KHK, the valves are not parallel to the cylinders. Hence, the tappet bodies all go in at a little angle. Hence, the cams have an angle on the surface that mates with the tappet bodies. So I think these are all different, and I'm going to mark the positions of them if I don't see a number stamped on them somewhere. And I don't see any identifying marks on here. So I'm going to tap. I'm going to put some punch marks on it. I may be a little off camera during that. And pretty much everything K model is unobtainium. So the first rule in K model mechanicking is much like a doctor, do no harm. Well, hopefully dropping that lifter body didn't do any harm. There are probably those K model enthusiasts who are going to say, I just ruined this part by punching some dimples in it so I could tell which hole it goes in. Oh well. These chrome countersunk sock cap screws are definitely not stock. They won't be going back in, that's for sure. All right, I got a brass punch, and I'm hoping a few light taps loosens this up. Doesn't look like it yet. That moved it. And that moved it. The puller that a guy might normally use, like on a Sportster, won't fit on these lifter bodies. There may be another puller available. I am unaware of any such, but there could be. I've seen the ears broken off of these from prying on them. I don't want to break the ears off. It's moving. Okay, these lifters were pretty bound up in these lifter bodies. All of them were. But that was just grease that had solidified into almost kind of plastic. Knocked them out of there with the drift, and little WD-40. They work pretty good right now. So I like to get everything out of a case before I work on it. So we're going to pull the oil lines out. And I think that is all of the bits and pieces. Whoops, I see one more fitting that's got to go. I'm going to share this much of the VIN with you. I'm not going to put the whole number on the internet because I don't know, there's people out there and they might copy that number down and make up some goofy story about how I stole their crankcase. But hey, yeah, that's what it is. 56 KHK. I will share this casting number with you. 54, 1954. And the other number that doesn't make any sense to me is this number, 160. That would seem to be a date of manufacture. That just isn't possible. I don't know what this number is or what the explanation can be for it, but this just can't be a date of manufacture of 1960. That makes no sense whatsoever. And a guy might say, well, you know, I don't know what a guy might say, but no matter what he says, it's not going to make any sense. There are plenty of things besides the VIN number and these numbers that convince me it's a KHK. I did a down and dirty measurement on the flywheels, and down and dirty says they are about 4.5. The stroke on a K model is 4 9/16. So me just guesstimating 4.5 by laying a ruler between the crank pin nut and what looks like the middle of the sprocket shaft, you know, 4.5 is close enough to 5/16. I could easily have been off by a couple of 30 seconds or a 16th. So the stroke is correct. The cylinders are notched correctly, and the cylinders are a 1/2 inch taller than standard K model cylinders. So there really is no doubt in my mind that this is a KHK. So we're going to take our fresh new super clean products here, and we're probably going to empty out one bottle of this stuff on these two sets of crankcases, And we're going to use Super Clean to get them super clean. Proudly sponsoring Super Clean products. So here are the super cleaned crankcases. I would go so far as to say that virtually all of the oily residue has been knocked off of them. Obviously, they still need sandblasting. Super Clean does not remove the corrosion and the pitting and all that. But yeah, the oily residue is gone. And I like to get the oily residue out of here before I sandblast them because, the sand gets stuck. It just makes a hell of a mess in the sandblaster. But yeah, Super Clean. These are ready for bee blasting. I'm going to scrape some of this gasket shit off, and they'll be ready to go. And here are the super clean results on the K model crankcases. As with the CH cases, it removed all the oily residue, no problem. And it actually took a lot of the paint off. I know some of you are going to say, well, it was just a power washer. But as I was spraying the Super Clean on, I let it sit, and I could see the paint start to crinkle up. And it literally just blasted a lot of it off. Not all of it, but a lot of it. But, the bottom line is I've got to get this cleaned up. And if Super Clean even got some of the paint off, it's going to make the cleanup easier. So I'm very happy with that. And I don't know. I think I'll be out of here tonight. Maybe do a little follow-up video tomorrow. But yeah, for now, I am out of here. Y'all take it easy. Thanks for watching. Bye. Men, if you like this channel and this content, the single most important thing you could do to help grow this channel is to hit the subscribe button. I also have new design coffee cups and stickers available. I like the old coffee cups, but I like these new ones even more. Links are included in the description down below. And for those of you who really want to go the extra mile, you could join me on Patreon. Link is also included in the description down below. And to all of you who have watched these videos, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.